Psychedelics. They're not just substances you take to escape or to have a trip. They're not magic pills that guarantee enlightenment or spiritual breakthroughs. You've probably heard countless stories about visionary journeys, ancient medicines, cosmic awakenings, and maybe you've also heard warnings, tales of bad trips, confusion, even danger. But here's the truth. No one seems to tell you straight. Psychedelics aren't about what they give you. They're about what they show you. They are mirrors, reflecting what's already inside your mind and soul. Not illusions created out of thin air, but reflections of your own light and shadow. And that changes everything. Because if you approach psychedelics expecting only wonder and joy, you're setting yourself up for a shock, for the darkness, the discomfort, the parts of yourself you'd rather ignore. They will come to the surface. It's a test, a challenge, a doorway that opens wide, but doesn't hand you a map. And if you walk through unprepared, without respect or understanding, you can get lost in confusion, anxiety, or worse, spiritual illusions. But if you come ready, if you hold intention, ritual, and community sacred, psychedelics can become powerful tools, not for escaping reality, but for facing it. Not for adding layers to the ego, but for dissolving it. This isn't a story about whether psychedelics are good or bad. It's a story about how they work, what they really are beneath the hype, the fear, and the myths, and why, in the end, the real journey isn't the trip itself, it's what you do when you return. So before you light that first flame, before you take that first step through the door, ask yourself one question. Are you ready to meet all of yourself, the light and the shadow? Because that is where the real work begins. For thousands of years, across the vast stretches of human history, psychedelics were never taken lightly. They were never casual pastimes or party favors. They were sacred medicines, vessels of transformation, woven deeply into the fabric of cultures all over the world. In the dense emerald rainforests of the Amazon basin, the indigenous shamans prepare a brew known as ayahuasca. This powerful vine concoction is more than just a drink. It is a portal, a doorway into the spirit world. For generations, these shamans have sat by flickering firelight, chanting ancient songs that have been passed down orally for centuries. Before the ceremony, fasting purifies the body, clearing it of distractions and impurities. Silence and meditation are practiced to calm the mind and open the heart. The whole community often gathers in sacred space, creating a container of shared intention and respect. This is not a recreational event. It is a collective journey into healing and self-discovery. Ayahuasca reveals what lies beneath, the unseen wounds, the buried fears, the unspoken truths, and it asks the drinker to face them fully and without avoidance. Thousands of miles away, in the deserts of North America, the indigenous peoples gather around ceremonial fires, holding peyote, a small cactus with mighty powers. Among the Huichol, Navajo, and other tribes, peyote is a sacred sacrament, a medicine that connects the wearer to ancestors and the divine. The rituals are solemn and deeply communal. Ceremonies may last through the night, with drumming, singing, and prayers rising to the stars. Before the ceremony, participants often fast or refrain from certain foods and behaviors to prepare their bodies and spirits. This sacred practice is not a thrill or escape. It is a solemn communion, an opening of the heart to guidance, insight, and healing. Crossing continents again, we find ourselves in the high mountains of Tibet, where Buddhist monks have used psychedelic mushrooms in ritual settings. For them, these substances were tools of deep meditation and spiritual insight, vehicles for accessing higher states of consciousness beyond the mundane mind. The sacred was entwined with discipline, prayer, and study. The psychedelic experience was held within a framework of profound respect and spiritual aspiration. Further south, deep in the jungles of Central Africa, The Bwiti tradition uses iboga, a powerful root bark with intense psychoactive properties. Iboga ceremonies can last days, often under the guidance of experienced elders who hold the medicine with great reverence. Here, the plant serves as a spiritual teacher, revealing the inner workings of the soul, purifying energy, and sometimes facilitating near-death experiences to catalyze rebirth. In each of these traditions, whether in South America, North America, Asia, or Africa, the use of psychedelics shares a common foundation: preparation. Before the journey begins, the body is cleansed, often through fasting, dietary restrictions, or purification rituals. The mind is calmed through silence, meditation, and prayer. The spirit is aligned through intention setting and sometimes communal support. Ritual. The ceremony is carefully structured with sacred songs, chants, or prayers that create a container, a protective, respectful space where the medicine can do its work. The presence of guides, elders, or shamans is essential, providing support, interpretation, and safety. Respect. The psychedelic plant or medicine is never treated casually or as a simple tool for pleasure. It is a living spirit, a powerful force to be approached with humility and awe. This approach recognizes something vital. Psychedelics are not just about visions or euphoria. They are about transformation, sometimes painful, always profound. The goal is not escape. The goal is dissolution of ego, illusions, and false identities. And the stakes are high, because to face yourself fully is no small feat. It requires courage, readiness, and responsibility. Contrast this with the modern experience. Today, psychedelics are often stripped of their cultural roots, removed from ritual, repackaged as lifestyle products or quick fixes, microdosing for productivity, weekend trips for fun, or spiritual exploration, commercial retreats promising instant healing or enlightenment. The sacred container, the ritual, the preparation, the communal holding is frequently lost, and with it, the medicine's true power becomes distorted or diminished. This tension between ancient wisdom and modern misuse is the fulcrum on which all psychedelic experiences now balance. Understanding this is crucial before you step through the door yourself. Psychedelics are unlike any other substances humans have encountered. They don't just alter perception or mood, they expand the very architecture of your consciousness. But to understand what they truly do, we need to shift how we think about them. Imagine holding a mirror, not just any mirror, but one that doesn't lie, doesn't flatter, and doesn't hide. This mirror shows every facet of who you are, your brightest light and your darkest shadow. Carl Jung, the father of analytical psychology, called this hidden side. The shadow is the collection of all the parts of yourself you reject, suppress, or simply never dare to look at. The fears you bury deep inside, the grief you never processed, the anger you swallowed because it was too dangerous to express, the parts you pretend don't exist. Psychedelics do not create these shadows. They reveal them with brutal honesty. They amplify your inner landscape. If your mind is calm, your heart open, and your spirit ready, the experience can be transcendent. Moments of clarity, boundless joy, profound connection. But if your mind is cluttered, your heart heavy, your spirit wounded, the experience can be overwhelming. Anxiety, paranoia, confusion, even terror. This is why so many call the psychedelic experience a double-edged sword, because the medicine itself is neutral. It doesn't discriminate. It reflects what is already present. This is the essence of the set and setting principle, a foundation for safe and meaningful journeys. Set refers to your mindset, your mood, intentions, expectations, and psychological state. Setting is the physical and social environment where the experience takes place. A supportive setting can provide safety and comfort, while a chaotic or unfamiliar one can magnify fear and disorientation. Scientific research over the past decades has begun to unravel how psychedelics work in the brain. Studies using fMRI and EEG show that psychedelics disrupt the brain's default mode network, the hub of the ego and self-referential thinking. This disruption loosens rigid mental patterns, allowing new connections and perspectives to emerge. It's like the brain's usual pathways are temporarily rewired. This rewiring explains the profound insights and visionary experiences people report. But it also means the brain is highly sensitive, receptive to inner states and external stimuli. The music you hear, the people you're with, even your thoughts, they all gain heightened importance. This sensitivity can be a blessing and a curse. Take, for example, someone entering a journey, feeling anxious or unresolved. Their unresolved fears might surface as intense paranoia or feelings of being watched. They might feel like they're losing control, like the ground beneath them is shifting. But these experiences are not malfunctions or bad trips in the simplistic sense. They are feedback loops, signals from your psyche and nervous system responding to the unraveling of defenses. In essence, your inner guard dogs are panicking because the ego's fortress is being breached. Facing this is not easy, but it can be profoundly healing when met with courage and support. On the other hand, when someone approaches with calm, intention, and preparation, the experience can reveal hidden layers of insight and healing. They might reconnect with suppressed memories, dissolve limiting beliefs, or feel an overwhelming sense of unity with all life. The spectrum of experiences is vast. Psychedelics can induce visions, emotional catharsis, mystical states, and even deep existential questioning. Yet, none of this is guaranteed, because the medicine does not bestow wisdom. It amplifies what's already there. Think of it like an amplifier for a musical instrument. If the instrument is well tuned, the music is beautiful and harmonious. If it's out of tune, the noise becomes dissonant and jarring. Similarly, your internal state, your emotional, mental, and energetic tuning determines what the psychedelic reveals. This is why preparation, intention, and integration are essential parts of the journey. Without them, the experience risks becoming noise instead of music, confusing, frightening, or meaningless. And it's also why the same psychedelic can lead to radically different experiences for different people, or even the same person at different times. The medicine is a tool, a powerful, unpredictable tool. It demands respect, readiness, and care. When honored, it can open doors to healing, insight, and spiritual awakening. When misused, it can exacerbate fears, deepen wounds, and reinforce illusions. The question is not whether psychedelics can change your life. They almost certainly will. The question is, how? Are you prepared to face all parts of yourself, the light and the shadow? Because true transformation begins there. In today's world, psychedelics have re-emerged with remarkable visibility. They've crossed from sacred ceremonies into mainstream culture, from indigenous rituals into Silicon Valley boardrooms, from spiritual retreats into music festivals. The ancient medicines once held with reverence are now caught in a whirlwind of commercialization and casual consumption. Psychedelic microdosing promises enhanced productivity and creativity. Retreat centers sell the dream of instant healing and rapid spiritual awakening. Social media floods us with stories of mystical visions and miraculous breakthroughs. But beneath this glittering surface lies a complicated reality, a tension that many don't talk about. Because while psychedelics can be profound allies, their modern use is riddled with risks. One of the most pervasive dangers is what spiritual teachers call spiritual inflation. This is the trap of mistaking sensation for transformation. You might feel euphoric, deeply connected, or intensely insightful, Your thoughts may seem clearer, your emotions heightened. You may even have vivid visions or profound realizations. But here's the catch. Feeling enlightened is not the same as being enlightened. The high, the visions, the feelings, they can mimic transcendence without delivering true growth. It's easy to fall into the illusion that the experience alone makes you spiritually evolved. Some begin to wear their psychedelic experiences like badges of honor, talking in mystic jargon, quoting philosophers, appearing woke, but their lives remain unchanged. Patterns persist, relationships stagnate, inner conflicts deepen. This is the illusion of insight without integration. It's not just a personal pitfall, it's a cultural one. The casual or commercialized use of psychedelics often strips away the sacred context that held these medicines accountable. Without preparation and community, the experience becomes a spectacle, a momentary escape, or a trendy lifestyle choice. Instead of ceremony, we get festivals with booming music and flashing lights. Instead of guidance, we get Instagram posts promising effortless enlightenment. Instead of integration, we get distractions, fleeting highs, and repeated cycles of use without depth. This disconnect leads to fragmented experiences, highs that feel profound but are ultimately hollow. The medicine's true power is masked or diluted. Moreover, the absence of ritual and guidance can lead to adverse psychological reactions. Many users report anxiety, paranoia, or feelings of disconnection. These are often misunderstood as bad trips caused by the substance itself, but in truth, they are signals, feedback from a psyche being pushed beyond its current capacity. Without support, these experiences can feel isolating, even traumatic. Unlike indigenous cultures, modern users often lack elder guidance, safe communal space, or ritual structure to hold them through difficult moments. This lack of container turns the transformative potential of psychedelics into a gamble. Another challenge is the commodification of these medicines. Pharmaceutical companies, wellness brands, and retreat centers package psychedelics as products to be bought and sold. This commercialization introduces profit motives that can overshadow ethical use, accessibility, and respect for cultural origins. The plant spirits and medicines, once honored as sacred teachers, become consumer goods. This shift erodes the humility and reverence essential for true transformation, and it creates an environment where psychedelics are consumed to escape, avoid discomfort, or chase sensations, rather than to face inner truth. In this context, the psychedelic experience becomes a feedback loop, a cycle of seeking, using, and escaping without real growth. The very qualities that make psychedelics powerful, their ability to amplify inner states, can also make them dangerous when wielded without care. Unresolved trauma, emotional chaos, or psychological instability can be intensified, and without intentional integration, insights evaporate, leaving behind confusion and disconnection. This is the paradox of psychedelics in the modern world. They hold the potential for deep healing and awakening, but also the risk of fragmentation and spiritual bypassing. Navigating this tension requires more than curiosity or willpower. It demands awareness, preparation, and most importantly, community. Communities that provide ritual, support, and accountability. Communities that help translate psychedelic visions into grounded, lasting change. Because the medicine does not do the work for you. It only opens the door. Walking through that door, integrating what you've seen, becoming who you glimpsed, that's the real challenge. In the ancient traditions that honored psychedelics, there was never a moment of casual use. Every journey was wrapped in layers of preparation and ceremony. Before the medicine touched the lips, the body, mind, and spirit were prepared, sometimes for days or even weeks. Fasting cleansed the body, clearing the way for the medicine to move without interference. Silence and meditation settled the mind, quieting the inner chatter that can distort the experience. Chanting, prayer, and sacred songs created an energetic container, a protective field holding the medicine and the journey in a space of respect and intention. The ceremony was led by shamans, elders, or spiritual guides, keepers of wisdom, who navigated the medicine's power and offered guidance through the unknown. Community played a vital role. The journey was never an isolated event, but a collective act of healing and transformation. This framework, preparation, ritual, community, is what modern practitioners call a container. Without it, the experience can become unpredictable, chaotic, or even harmful. Ritual and preparation are not arbitrary traditions. They are the keys to aligning your inner world so that the medicine reveals healing instead of confusion. They are spiritual hygiene. Just like you wouldn't walk into a sacred temple in dirty clothes, you don't walk into a psychedelic journey with a cluttered mind or unsettled heart. Integration is the next, often overlooked phase. The experience itself is only the beginning. True transformation happens in what you do after the journey ends, when you bring the insights and lessons back into your daily life. Integration means reflecting on your visions, emotions, and revelations. It means asking yourself, how do these insights change how I live? How do they alter how I relate to myself, to others, to the world? Integration is sometimes messy. It can bring up resistance, discomfort, and the hard work of change, but it is essential. Without integration, psychedelic experiences remain fleeting highs, beautiful, but ultimately hollow. Many traditions emphasize community integration circles, ongoing support, and mentorship to help the journeyer apply what they have learned. This is why solitary or casual use is risky. The plant opens doors, but the path through those doors requires guidance and grounding. It requires humility. The medicine doesn't hand you answers, it hands you questions, and it asks you to walk through uncertainty with courage. The ancient shamans knew this. They respected the power of the medicine and honored the responsibility of the journeyer. Modern seekers would do well to reclaim this wisdom, because the psychedelic path is not a shortcut. It is a deep, unfolding process of becoming, and it demands discipline, reverence, and care. At its core, psychedelics are mirrors, unflinching, unyielding mirrors. They don't grant you new truths or magical insights out of nowhere. They reflect what already lives inside you, your unresolved wounds, your buried fears, but also your hidden light and potential. This reflection can be uncomfortable. It can challenge every story you've told yourself about who you are, but it is also an invitation to face yourself honestly, to meet your shadow without running, to embrace your light without arrogance. Transformation is not about the visions you see in altered states. It is about the choices you make when you return to ordinary life. Are you willing to carry the humility and wisdom gained into your daily routines? Can you live with the discomfort of growth? Can you hold space for your imperfection and keep moving forward? Because true spiritual growth is not found in fleeting experiences or moments of transcendence. It's found in presence, in embodiment, in walking through the ordinary with extraordinary awareness. Psychedelics can open the door, but they cannot walk the path for you. That journey is yours, and it is lifelong. The sacredness you seek is not out there, it's within you. Are you ready to stop chasing the light outside and start transmitting it from within? This is the ultimate test. The real work begins now. If this video has spoken to something deep inside you, pause for a moment. Reflect on what you've heard. Know that this conversation doesn't end here. True understanding comes from continued learning, practice, and community. I invite you to explore deeper resources, to join integration circles, to seek guidance from those who have walked the path before you, because you don't have to walk it alone. The medicine is powerful, but so is the circle that holds you. If you're ready to take the next step, the links below will connect you to teachings and communities rooted in respect, wisdom, and care. And remember, the greatest journey is not the one taken under their influence. It's the one lived fully awake every single day. Thank you for listening. If this message resonated, please share your thoughts below.